It's the Sorcery Contested Realm, Hate It or Play It. Per request on YouTube, we're looking at Planar Gate. It's a site that gives no threshold. Planar Gate is an elite site and gateway to oblivion. It reads, minions here can traverse the void, gaining void walk until leaving it. Alright, so this one was a little bit of a weird one that was hard for me to place. It gives minions a temporary kind of version of Void Walk. And for those of you who don't know, the Void is a separate region where sites have not been played. We can look at it in this example. This is straight from the rulebook. And in the number 2 location, you see there's no site. It is a Void with a Headless Haunt, which is a minion that has Void Walk. So in thinking about, okay, what can I do with this card? My first thought is use this as a flanking tool to get around your enemy's front lines. But I think that's a little too slow because moving out into the void is going to cost you 1 movement, and then moving up to get behind your enemies is going to be another turn. So you're looking at least 2 to 3 turns before you're attacking with something like that. And I think that's just a little too slow. Your enemies are going to they're going to see it coming. They're going to put defenders there, and it's going to be too late. I think it could actually be better used for an anti-void walk kind of strategy. You could then move your minions out into the void to attack those minions that your enemy has waiting just outside your reach. You could also just put any kind of spellcaster out there that if your enemy does have void walk minions that they're playing, then that gives you a spellcaster that you could then cast removal out into the void. Although probably the most popular Void Walk minion is Phase Assassin, who also has stealth, which means you won't be able to target him with spells anyway, so this isn't as good as I'd like it to be. Maybe even better, you could use the Planar Gate to protect your assets. Think something like Avalon Dryads or any other kind of ramp minions that you don't want to die. Just remember that any kind of static effects that are an area effect may not work here, because those area effects are not going to cross over into different regions. So if you have that minion in the void, it's not going to cross over onto your sites. All right, so this is actually my second time uploading this video, because the first time I used the Mordic Druids as an example here. And as a user pointed out, Mordic Druids, just as I warned, does not work here. It is not just a static global effect. So that's my bad, but they did point out that one good example is Boudica, which is a global static effect. Planar Gate might see a boost in power if Void Walk minions become more prevalent and there is a lot of support behind Void Walk. They aren't right now. They are used in some aggro decks, and Phase Assassin is popular. But maybe someone in your play group is a fan of Void Walk, and, well, here's a little defense against that. But you're definitely not going to be slotting this into any deck, especially if you're not playing against Void Walk, and it doesn't provide a threshold. So for now, I'm going to give Planar Gate a hate it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a like for more sorcery content.